Having goals, following management rules, only works if you follow them. And this year there's a new helper and a new plan at an old spot for a big mature deer that we've watched since 2014. And after not notching a tag for nearly 3 years, we bet it all on the big typical.
StealthCam presents Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail, brought to you by Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Monster Meal, attract, nourish, retain. Excalibur Crossbow, different for a reason. Heater Bodysuit, #1 in cold weather hunting gear. New archery products, hunt with confidence. Bog, engineered for the unknown. Hoyman, your land, your legacy. Muddy, serious gear for serious hunters. Glendale 3D Targets, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the world. Nocturnal lighted nocks, switch on accuracy and let it glow. Boyd's hardwood gun stocks, better with Boyd's. Raculator, score your trophy fast, easy, and accurate. Old timer knives, built for generations. And by StealthCam, proven reliability, proven quality, proven performance.
We've been lucky to take some pretty great deer over the years, and one thing we've learned along the way is that to take those true trophies, it's not going to happen every year, and you're going to have to pass some pretty good deer along the way. I had not notched a tag since 2016, and this is where my 2018 season had left off.
Not too worried about shooting a deer this year, but at least we get to sit in a deer stand, watch deer, and wonder what might happen in the next 10 seconds. Because you never know. In the final hours, a gorgeous buck. Well within range, but sometimes you have to stick to your rules. And out with that buck walked my 2018 season, my second consecutive season without cutting a tag. But every year that passes, bucks get older. And for 2019, we had a new plan.
We're setting up today in a pretty familiar spot. This is actually a spot a couple years ago that my wife took her 210-inch deer. And we came back this year because the year that my wife shot her deer, we filmed another deer, and we'd filmed them a couple years previous to that as well.
In 2014, we were fairly certain this was him at 1 year old. The next year, he started to gain shape. In 2016, the young fellow was starting to take form with his long swooping tines and unique frame, maintaining it again in 2017 with significant growth, quickly becoming one handsome buck, and we were able to turn up just one of his sheds that year. When 2018 rolled in, so did the buck with a lot of growth, and watching him all summer and fall in the stealth cams, we guessed that he was now a 160-inch class buck, and wondered what 2019 might bring. And boy, did he grow.
He looks like he's a pretty nice deer this year. Just judging off the stealth cams, it looks like he's a borderline Boone and Crockett typical.
We picked up on him early in June, and it looked just like trees growing from his head. As July and August rolled in, the growth never slowed. Long beams and tall tines, he was a deer that we certainly wanted to see up close, and we had a plan.
When my wife shot her deer, it was alfalfa behind us. The deer were moving from the south. They were traveling the channel and out to the alfalfa. That's just a worked up field now, but there's peas straight to the west now. So the deer tend to do the same thing. They're coming from the southeast. They come through this channel and they're heading out to those peas. Magnus came in today to help, so we're gonna get the floor all cleaned out. We're gonna put the blind. We'll get all the grass out of there so it doesn't make noise. We'll get things cleared up. We'll get the blind up, get it tied and anchored into place, and then we'll get some brush up. And once we get some brush up, we'll get our stealth cam back up. We'll get some attracted out and we'll be ready and set. It's about 4 weeks before season. Hopefully when the season comes, we can get in here and have a look. The only way to do that is to be in here, be set up and be ready to have a look come fall.
This segment is brought to you by Hooyman and the new no-slip H-grip on their full line of tools. Best-in-class tools for every application. Hooyman, your land, your legacy. Canadian Whitetail is also brought to you by Central Boiler Outdoor Furnaces, the ultimate wood heat. Black Eagle Arrows, advanced carbon technology. Tinks, makers of the finest deer lures and scents. Tacticam, share your hunt. Wild Edge, makers of the stepladder. Cyclops, get out of the dark. Styrka Optics, we see things differently. Elite Archery, the world's most shootable bow. And by Scott Archery. This segment of Canadian Whitetail has been brought to you by Glendale, the only 3D target with a replaceable 4-sided core. Glendale, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe.
Heading into the third season without notching a tag, this year we had a buck that I wanted to have a look at, a setup, and it was opening day. A few last shots to ensure the Excalibur was dialed in and we were off for day one.
Well, we're in for day number one. It's October 1st, so it's opening day of Crossbow out here, and we already had a bit of a snowstorm, so this is a pretty cool spot. The buck we wanted to get a look at here, we've filmed him several times on this property, and this year, judging by the pictures in the South County, he's a deer we want to take a look at. Now, we're unsure of his exact age. Going by our footage and trail camera photos, we think he's probably 6. So he definitely could still grow if he was let go. But he looks pretty big, so we're hoping to get a look at him. Hopefully it doesn't take us all season to get a look at him, and we'll decide from there. There's a lot of hunting pressure in this property, so we're not even 100% sure he's alive from day to day, but he made it through the last several seasons, so.
With several deer moving, it's not until last light that the best buck of the evening arrives, this young up-and-comer.
Well, it's day 2, we got the same wind, so we're back in the same stand. It's a lot nicer today. The sun came out and burnt off all that snow from the early snowfall, so I guess that should be motivation to be in here early.
Still early in the season, day 2 passes with little activity.
Day 4.
On day 4, with a few visitors, at last light we were about to have an encounter with a gorgeous buck and the best of the season so far.
Well, we just got back to the truck. Seemed pretty nice buck late, but not the one we were hoping for, so we had a good run of days with perfect weather conditions. We had, I think, a 4-day stretch, which is more than we usually get. So that's not great. Usually if we get 3 or 4 days, we can get a look at a deer, and we didn't get a look at him, so. The wind today is not great, but it's not too bad. It's out of the west-southwest, so it's cutting back this way. We'll see how we make out. We'll get those Onyx running. It'll be just fine. We came in, I checked the trail camera. We put some more monster meal out. The nights that I did sit, he was through here every night. It was just after dark. I don't think he's onto us. I just think we haven't lined up on him yet, that's all.
Another slow evening with no sightings of the buck, now pushing into mid-month, not knowing day to day if the deer was still alive.
We're back. It's October 13th, so we're days into muzzleloader season, and we haven't seen him yet, so we know he's still alive, so you start to wonder if we should be choking up or moving our spot around a little bit. But I still feel we're in the right spot. I just think we haven't lined up on it yet.
And as the days tick by with no encounters, we become less confident in being in the right spot.
This segment of Canadian Whitetail has been brought to you by Bog. More than just a shooting rest. Bog, engineered for the unknown. This segment brought to you by AAE. Innovation and integrity is in our blood. Quality and dependability is in our products.
You can still hear them running, but I think it's gonna maybe work to our advantage, so we're gonna hedge her a bit. It looks like they're just about done. So I think they swathed pretty late last night, which would have kept the deer out of the fields and kept the deer from moving through here. And the combine's all day today, so if we get lucky and they clear out now, as long as they didn't bump the deer out, the deer should be wanting to move pretty quick.
Another beautiful night in the blind, the deer do move, and at last light the bucks do as well, including this long-beam deer.
And I can assume it's confusing that we're not following our own advice, because we always say, don't just wait. If you're not in the right spot, get moving. If you're not seeing them in daylight, get moving. But the problem here is we're kind of handcuffed. We can't get anywhere else. We can't really move because there's other people hunting on the property. And from where we think the deer is bedding, if we choke up on them, we're going to put more pressure on the deer, which is going to make things go even worse. So,
with the season closing on the 31st for 15 days, the month starts to pass by with no sightings of the big typical.
I brought a lucky camera in today. Maybe. We got the right conditions to get back in here for one more day. It's supposed to go back to the west tomorrow, so this is probably our last set here before the early season closes, so he's still alive anyway.
And even though conditions were right, there was no encounter, and we were down for 2 weeks.
Well, it's November 15th, and we're back, so it's a good day. Some of the good news is the season was closed from November 1st until the 14th yesterday. It just opened today. The buck that we're after was coming through daylight very often. The bad news is it's the opening day. We're sticking it out with the crossbow, but it's rifle season. When I got here, there was a truck parked about 30 yards behind the blind. We found a couple fellas that put a blind about 30 yards on the other side of where I put the monster meal to hunt it with rifles. But it is public land. A lot of guys hunt here. Just got light out, we got in and got settled in the dark, ready for the day and see what I make out. Conditions are less than ideal, they're actually pretty bad. It's pretty horrible, but we're getting into the season. We got the Ozonics running on hyper boost. Not a lot to lose, time to start taking some chances. He was through here last night at like 11:30 p.m. I snuck in here today, we put some more monster meal down, and we'll just sit her out and see what happens.
Settled in again, it's easy to get complacent, discouraged, but as I was about to find out, anything can happen at any time when this young buck begins to stare downwind to my left. I look over and can barely believe it.
It's a huge typical, and now in person I know instantly I'm going to shoot. It's a surreal moment when a giant finally steps out. All of the work, the time, years spent not filling tags, and time spent setting up with my son flash through the moment like a slideshow. All in preparation for this moment.
Welcome to this week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment. Locate, learn, set up, hunt. Brought to you by Muddy Outdoors.
The October lull myth, and that's just something we don't buy into. Actually, October is one of our favorite times to be in the field, and if you look back at the history, most of our biggest whitetails have come from October, and there's a very good reason for that. In October, the deer are still very much driven by food, and they're also still patternable. And the reason we read so many articles about how poor October is because most of the time we're doing all of our work in August getting ready for the September opener. But now it's October, fall's in full effect, and the deer have shifted how they're acting. Their food sources changed, just about everything in their daily routine has changed. The fields aren't as green anymore, a lot of the crops are gone, and the more mature bucks are starting to put on a few more miles, establishing their dominance in their home area. So if you're hunting, October comes and a lot of your stands slow down, take a good look at them, see how you can adjust things, because those big mature bucks are on their feet a lot in daylight in October, and it's your chance to land the next deer of your dreams.
This week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment has been brought to you by Muddy Outdoors. Share your own muddy moment. This segment has been brought to you by the Heater Bodysuit. The Heater Bodysuit is the ultimate cold weather hunting garment that allows you to stay on stand longer and sit comfortably. The Heater Bodysuit. You stay warm or your money back.
In and settled, this young buck's attention gets mine. And the big typical steps out. Not knowing what his plans are, I prepare to take the first shot that I have. I've been here, and it's not worked out. We took the biggest risk we could take tonight. I just got a shot at him. I think the shot was good. I'll take a look. I can't believe that. Came right up from downwind. He came from straight east. We were sketchy what's hit the wind tonight. I can't even talk.
All right, buddy. From the picture, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty nice. I think it's only, I lost track of the days. I don't know if it was 25 or 27 or 46.
It's been 3 years.
Oh yeah, he's right there, Stevie. I didn't think he was gonna go far. Holy moly. Yeah, he's gorgeous. He's just an absolute fantastic deer. He's a gorgeous deer. There's no way a guy could ask for any more. Way up high off his head in big tines. I'm sure thankful I haven't cut a tag for, well, maybe just about 3 years now. And that's what I was waiting for. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen when he stepped out there, boy. Just a gorgeous animal, and we're so lucky to have got to watch him and had a chance at him here tonight. Just beautiful. This is the 5th year we filmed him, I think, and last year he was a nice 160s class 5x5, and we didn't even set the stand up, hey? We just kind of watched him, hoped he'd survive, and he did. We had about a 2-hour meeting at the house about the wind not being right today, but we're running into a situation where we didn't have much to lose, so we ran the Ozonics on boost, and he came in right from downwind day. It's not a chance I would take in September when there's a lot of season left, but in the last few days it paid off, and when he stepped out there he was just gorgeous. That second that they step out, you know, that a giant like that steps out from the brush, that's the second that I live for. After that, if we don't get a shot, that's okay. You beat him at his game.
Got a cool little kicker right there.
Yeah, he's got the matching one on this side. He broke a little bit, but it always was a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
You get a chance at a deer like this every few years, or heck, once in your lifetime. It's pretty tough to complain about anything, isn't it? I was so fortunate not only to hunt that deer, but to have an opportunity at him. And when I enjoy going after one specific buck that much, it doesn't make a difference to me whether I notch a tag every year or every 10 years. Deer season truly never ends when you love the whitetail woods. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Canadian Whitetail.
This segment has been brought to you by Wild Edge and the ultimate climbing system, the Step Ladder. Safely design your climb in any tree, anywhere, with the most versatile, lightweight, and compact climbing system, the Step Ladder. To book your own dream hunt in northern Saskatchewan, please contact us at Canadian Whitetail Outfitters. Canadian Whitetail has also been brought to you by these fine sponsors. For exclusive content, follow Dean and the team on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at WhitetailDean. To view all past and present episodes of Canadian Whitetail, as well as new original content, visit us on our YouTube and Carbon TV channels. For Canadian Whitetail gear and apparel, visit CanadianWhitetailTV.com.
Audio